navigating the middle class. Very important subject here. What advice would you give to the middle class individuals looking to improve their financial situation and move towards financial independence?
My advice would be to get out of the middle class as soon as you
Mm.
can. Because, and actually, I think Andrew Tate touched on this point as well in one of his interviews that I was watching. The middle class is pretty much carrying the entire nation on their backs.
Everything is so amazing. I thank God for the biz. Let's go. So amazing, so amazing. Do it for self is my only occupation. So amazing, so amazing. Do it for self is my only occupation. Being a boss is so amazing.
Being the boss is so amazing. Oh my gosh, great people, great day, great day, great day. Another day, another opportunity. I know you were starting to bounce a little bit, but man, oh my gosh, at the end of this, I'm going to play that through. But
Yeah.
I think it's super important to be a boss today, not putting anyone else down, but it's so important. We're going to be diving into that because we got a blessing today. Good morning, good evening, good night. I don't know where you guys are seeing this, but we got Miss Krystal Todd here. Oh my gosh, when I say fireball, you may have to call the ambulance or, the fire truck. Yeah, right, because there's going to be so much fire. When you're talking about the realest financial education, episode 19 now, we're talking about episode 19, mastering money, a subject that's not talked about at the dinner table. We know it's not talked about in the school system, but insights from financial expert, Miss Krystal Todd. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry about that, man. How are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. I love talking money. So it's always a good day that we can encourage people to step into business. So I'm here for it and I'm ready.
Absolutely. And I remember hearing Mr. Andrew Tate state, if your associates, your circle, there's nothing wrong with talking about money all the time. You know what I mean? I mean, it's an important subject that affects everything that's going on, especially in today's time, Krystal. So I'm super excited. But when I've been following you for years, and I just watched you go up a ladder of success. I'm talking about YouTube channels, amazing. Just everything on social media. I mean, just watching you enjoy freedom and enjoy life. But that's because of the value that you've been bringing to the marketplace for years. Beginning on your journey, Krystal, can you share with us how you began your journey into the world of finance and entrepreneurship? What inspired you to pursue a career as a CPA and financial expert?
Okay, yeah, for sure. Let's get right into it. So I stumbled into finances because when I went to school, I thought I was going to go be a dentist until I failed chemistry. Then I thought I was going to be a physics major and engineer. Didn't do too hot on that either. So this is like the first lesson in reaching out to other people because I wasn't too sure where to go after that. So I went to my career fair and they had me take a test to see what I'd be interested in based on my interests. So I'm going through this and accounting was one of the things that popped up. I was like, hey, I'm good with math. I'm good with numbers. Like, let's just try accounting. And that's where everything started. So it wasn't intentional. I didn't go in there knowing I wanted to be an accountant, kind of just fell into it. But I took my first accounting class, absolutely loved it. It's more puzzle piecing than it is math, which is why I just enjoy it a lot. You're just trying to figure out how to make things work, how to say the right things when it comes to your finances. So it's been really interesting, honestly. I've been an auditor, a typical accountant. I've also worked in financial reporting. So I got to really work closely with CFOs and CEOs. And I realized that the conversations that they have are way different than what we're taught. I'm sitting in my 401k thinking I'm hot, like hot shit here. But
Right.
Yeah, they're talking about huge profit margins and growth with business, and there wasn't a mention of a 401k. There wasn't a mention of, savings rates and things like this. So I realized, wow, we're getting two totally different pieces of advice And one is resulting in millions and billions of dollars, and the other is resulting in a 401k that has about 60K when you actually need it.
Wow.
Depending on Social Security and depending on your family, when you really should thrive on your own if you can, as you get older. So that's what motivated me, just seeing the stark difference in advice and how one was just having incredible results and everybody else is typically average.
Yes, ma'am. Wow, good information. And it's never to put anyone down. When I started to first hear about the 401k and just hearing individuals such on that wealthy level, not making in front of anyone, but stating that this has been the biggest scam ever put on the American population. And not understanding the no control. I mean, it's like driving a car, a Lamborghini with no steering wheel, and you're going to crash because it's all about having control. And I think people want control. I appreciate you sharing that. The state of the economy, Krystal, given your expertise, how do you view the current state of the economy? What are some key challenges and opportunities you see for individuals and businesses today?
Okay. My opinion on this has definitely grown since I've been online. So I used to be obsessed with reporting on recessions and, the interest rates and all of these things, which is definitely important. And you have to have a good pulse on what's happening in the economy so you can shift. But I think it's a lot more rewarding to have the belief that no matter what's going on, I'm prepared economically for anything. So I think economics is obviously a macro thing. We need to understand what's happening, the presidents, what they're voting on, tax rates, but ultimately getting a better idea of your personal economy will do you a lot better in life. You'll understand, okay, something happens bad to my job, what are my options? Because no matter what you look at it, there's going to be seasons in every single economy that we have. Right now, we've had like an extended, I would say, kind of like fall where it's like, we're okay, we're feeling the pinch of interest rates and inflation, but we're not actually, people aren't losing their jobs in droves. We're not really seeing it on a larger level to where the media is picking it up, talking about it obsessively. So before you get there, it's best to get prepared so that when that does happen, you're not in fear and you're actually on the other side where all the millionaires are, which is it's just savings. Like it's like everything's on sale when there are recessions. So get prepared. Have some other income sources already established now so that when recessions do come, you're not afraid of it. So I prefer just discussing ways to make more money, ways to protect yourself versus, oh no, like interest rates are higher now. What are we going to do? One is much more empowering than the other.
Yes, ma'am. Good teaching right there. And I skipped this. This is important because like I mentioned at the beginning, I've been watching you for so many years, your passion and drive. I mean, to have not just a woman, but a Black woman with this expertise. Oh my, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Where does your passion in financial literacy and empowerment come from? You gave us the breakdown of, how just seeing the conversation being different, having that ear on the wall. I mean, there are different types of financial advisors, they're financial advisors for the middle class and there's financial advisors for the rich. Totally different conversation. So where does your passion come from? Was there a specific moment or experience that ignited this drive in you?
Yeah, oh yeah. There's positive passions and negative passions, right? So starting with the positive passions, results, right? Seeing my life change, seeing what happens when I make more money, seeing what happens when I'm on the side of the millionaire's advice, which is making more, not worrying about cutting back, because typically you don't want to cut back your expenses. You want to make more money. So making more money, protecting your wealth, getting into business. I've seen results from that and it makes me excited. My life has dramatically changed. I don't dread Mondays and things like that, right? So
yes, ma'am.
Seeing it in my own life makes me pumped up because I love it. I think I can almost cry just thinking about how being on this side of things has changed my life for the better. But there's also negative influences too. I've had jobs where I just didn't get along with the people and or even a little bit more, I guess, painful. My grandfather died. I had to still work. They told me to bring my laptop to the funeral, so while I have an opportunity to be with family I haven't seen for years, I'm instead working because this job just needs me. And I'm an accountant. Like no one's going to die if I just spend time with my family, but they just didn't get that. So a lot of these opportunities, like the being at work and not having control over my life, the life that I have, that is a negative influence, but it makes me passionate because we shouldn't have to spend so many years of our life doing things that we don't want to do. So if you really don't want to do it, you don't have to. That's a beautiful thing. And I think we don't realize that because we're too stuck in having average conversations and telling people things can't happen or it's too hard versus it might be difficult, but someone did it. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, Miss Krystal. You know what, Krystal, it is deep. When I don't, once again, I never put anyone down, and I always emphasize that. But the brainwashing, the downloading from 50,000 plus hours of education that's not based on freedom. It's not based on financial literacy. It's not based on being the leader that you were born to be. You know what I mean? And people have good intentions, Krystal, but the downloading is serious. So that's why I had to, just get your input on your passion and where does it come from. But you stepped outside that box, and this is why your success. But also, just like I mentioned before, and I'll continue to mention this, your passion and your value that you brought to the marketplace is just tremendous. The importance of financial literacy.
Yes.
Why do you believe financial literacy is crucial, especially today, for everyone, especially in the Black community and women? How can it transform lives and communities?
Financial literacy unlocks the doors to everything you want in life because the way our economy currently is money is our means of exchange. So if the thing that we're using to literally get anything that we want in this life, you don't have an understanding of it, you're not going to get what you want faster, right? People want to get rich quick. If you understand money, you will get rich quicker anyways, because you have an understanding of what's happening, right? So as far as the importance, it's essential, it's crucial to me, it's non-negotiable. Even if you want to lose weight, you can get there faster if you have the means to get a professional, a personal training, a coach. So anything that you need is wrapped around money somehow, some way. If you understand what it is, the ways that you can make it, if you free yourself from the shackles of you have to work a 9 to 5 and you have to tie your income to your time, if you can release yourself from those thought processes, those thought beliefs, you can open up a world that is way more than you ever even imagined. So it's important to have these conversations to see what's possible, because then you get motivated to change your life. The only reason why I even got online is because financial literacy or just even awareness was made aware to me. There's a famous YouTuber named Graham Stephan. I think he's like the gateway for any finances on YouTube. He was the first person I saw share that he was making multiple 6 figures on YouTube just from talking, So if I never saw that, I wouldn't have gotten on there and I probably wouldn't be where I'm at right now. So it's really important to be open to explain what's happening, to get educated and have a community of people who do the same thing, because then your opportunities will grow, or at least your mindset that you can actually get those opportunities will grow. So we have to be a lot more open with each other and honest about finances.
Absolutely. It's an important subject today. We see how the market reacted yesterday. We're at a point in history in this country, really worldwide, you know what I mean, dealing with banking industries. But we see how the market reacted yesterday, and that's where people's lives are. But a lot of people don't know that their life is tied to this financial market. So independence and what you're sharing is vital for us today. Navigating the middle class. Very important subject here. What advice would you give to the middle class individuals looking to improve their financial situation and move towards financial independence?
My advice would be to get out of the middle class as soon as you can. Because, and actually, I think Andrew Tate touched on this point as well in one of his interviews that I was watching. The middle class is pretty much carrying the entire nation on their backs. If you think about people who suffer from poverty or they're not housed, they're not going to be hit with taxes. They don't make enough money, right? The rich people have accountants and CPAs like me, so they don't get hit with taxes. Who's left? The middle class, with health insurance, like the people who can't necessarily afford it, they have Medicaid, they have Medicare. Rich people can afford it. And if they don't, they will upcharge their business. Like they'll increase their prices or figure out different ways to afford it. Middle class, you don't necessarily have those options. So when things get more expensive, like healthcare, you don't really have the options to raise your prices. You can't just walk into your job and say, hey, I need more money. It doesn't really work like that. You don't have Medicaid or Medicare, so you're really stuck. You're getting hit with inflation. You're getting hit with taxes and pretty much policies too. Like they affect us. When COVID happened, right? People who were homeless or who were poor, and if there was a mandate, it's like, well, I don't have a job anyway. It doesn't matter. They're not gonna, what are you gonna do to me? If you're rich, people quite literally fled different states. So in the middle class, you're pretty much stuck at whatever policy because you don't really have other options. So if you're in the middle, you are pretty much America's puppet. You pay the most tax, whether or not you realize it, right? You're the one who's getting the taxes that you have to pay. You can't really escape from different political, whatever they decide. It's really, you don't have enough money to really move around it. So I think as quickly as you can, get out, or at least if you stay in the middle class, give yourself options. So if there is some sort of mandate where you have to get a vaccine, if you don't want to, you actually have an option to choose not to. If you want to relocate, you have an option. So you have more options when you have more money. It's just flat out. So I could tell you it's not fair and you blame capitalism, but ultimately that's the game we're playing. We can complain about the game or we could just learn the rules. And I prefer to learn the rules and pull people out of the middle class so that we have more options.
Absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, we have the young lady here, Miss Krystal, to help you change that mindset and work on it fast to get out of the middle class, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. But like I stated, it's been fire so far, ladies and gentlemen. And as you know, we got to take a quick infomercial break. And we're going to be back here with episode 19, Mastering Money. We got to do it fast, great people. You got to focus, because if you haven't dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's in this economy and connected with intelligence like Mrs. Krystal, I don't know what to say. But we got to continue our insights after this quick infomercial break with the expert, financial expert, Krystal Todd. We'll be right back.
Simple. That's it. Building wealth is simple. Creating more for your life, and it's just about the money. It's just about having more in life. Life isn't about just getting up every day, going around this revolving door. It may have been what you've been taught, because that's what the school system teaches, is to get a job. But once you realize and understand that we really have to snap out of what we've been put into mentally, we have to understand that there's something on the other side. And on the other side is called freedom. On the other side is called wealth. On the other side is called debt-free. On the other side is called less taxes. On the other side is called residual income. On the other side is called investments. On the other side is called royalties. On the other side is called just a peace of mind. And we want to share with you how simple that is to attain. Simple is actually the system we're using, and actually an acronym which represents shift, which you're just shifting your mindset, shifting your income. Increase, you're growing what you're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. You're growing your money, you're growing your income. Multiplying, understanding that wealthy people are not by themselves. You want to be wealthy, you can't do it alone. You have to have a mentor, you have to have a coach, you have to have a community, you have to have a network. Multiply. Then you must understand you have to protect. If you're trying to solve a problem with what's causing the problem, what do I mean by that? Well, cash is the one that's causing the problem. The more you print cash, the less the cash value is there, but the more you print cash, the more you're creating inflation. So you can't go work for more cash. You have to make cash work for you. So we want to show you how you protect the cash and leverage everything. Leverage is so important. Would you carry those 10 boxes over there by yourself and just let that cart sit there and not use the cart to help you with those 10 boxes? I think it's intelligent to put the boxes on the cart, and you'll get to the destination that you got to move the boxes to faster. You even save your back. So with that being said, we want to share with you the importance of understanding how simple it is using our system called Simple. We want you to see our wealth worksheet, and you're going to be so surprised at how simple it is to build wealth. So visit my website at www.aricheducation.com. You can visit it also in the description here, or if you're seeing this on social media, you can actually click the link in any bio or any platform other than TikTok, because I'm rebuilding that right now. So ladies and gentlemen, we're looking forward to seeing you on the other side, because it's simple to build wealth in the new economy.
Want to welcome everyone back to a Rich Education podcast with episode 19, mastering money. Yeah, have you mastered it? Well, maybe you don't have to master it, but you still have to know, and I know Krystal agrees with me, the components to it: assets, liabilities, cash flow. And she talked about it. Taxes, your number one expense. Super excited to be here with this intelligence. I'm letting you know, your network is your network. Miss Krystal has not met me in person, but look, people know real. And when I listen to her, I get the notepad out. I've been learning from her, and this is real for years. Success is what we make. It's nobody's fault. And she even mentioned it. Let's get the number one economy straight, which is the economy in your home. The rich are getting richer, while we just went segue into the break with the middle class and poor getting wiped out. This is important, ladies and gentlemen. As a successful entrepreneur, Krystal, what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned along the way? How do you handle setbacks and keep moving forward?
Okay. Biggest lesson along the way that easily comes up is, as an entrepreneur, you don't need a good idea, you need a good problem. I think that business, when we think about, or at least when I was younger thinking about business growing up, it's like, oh, that was a good idea. But no, it solved a good problem. People have ideas all the time. Ideas ain't really worth much, right? What are people willing to pay for? So if you have a good problem, a real problem to solve, and you can actually prove that you can solve that problem, your business will keep on multiplying and printing money for yourself. So if you do not have a good problem that people are actually really in need for, it typically is in the realm of health, wealth, relationships, and happiness. Like, those are the four kind of like core problems that your business can solve. So if your business doesn't solve a health problem, wealth problem, a relationship problem, or just happiness problem, try to figure out how you can do that, because those are the main things any of these large companies actually solve, right? So come up with a good problem to solve, and your business should be fine. There's other things you have to work on, of course, but businesses fail because they run out of money and they don't have good products. Main two things. So if you could figure out a really good product, we can figure out the money for it pretty simply. And then as far as getting out of different things. There's so many more ups and downs in entrepreneurship. Of course, your income is not necessarily stable. Right. A lot of these things are numbers problems. So if you're ever, and even outside of business too, if you're having problems in your business, you need to go back to the drawing board and start to really measure things. So if you're saying, man, I don't have enough sales coming in, are you doing enough outreach, right? Are you making enough content? Are you telling people enough about what you actually have to sell? So after you get your good product, everything in your business can pretty much be solved through numbers, which is why I love accounting, because we convert numbers into language and vice versa. You tell me what your problems are, I can give you math to solve it. All right. So that will get you out of a lot if you could just figure out, okay, I have this problem. Let's figure out the numbers behind it so I can improve said numbers.
Absolutely. And in today's time, I like to call it the information age. Information is money. If people can solve a problem, like you mentioned, with information and systems, most definitely can have success. I think it's important today. We see the job market is tremendously changed. I mean, not just artificial intelligence, but just companies who really don't, with all due respect, people don't care about you. Their concern is more their bottom line. So we've been seeing a lot of things happening that is, it's kind of scary, So being self-sufficient is important. The role of mindset. I mean, you have it, Krystal. Mindset. When I hear you just free speaking, like, bruh, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? But that mindset, how important is mindset in achieving financial freedom and success? What mindset shifts do you think are necessary for someone to break free from an average life?
Mindset is a foundation. It is a foundation. If you do not have mindset, it doesn't matter how much money you make, it will go right back down, because the mindset is what keeps that money in your pocket. It's what keeps you motivated. There's and I forget where this came from, but there's a saying that says, if you took all the money from the rich and gave it to the poor, within a year, it'd be the same. Right? The rich would have that money right back again. Why? Because mindset. Poor people would get that money and probably go loose, go shopping, spend it, eat, whatever they are, then end up right back with nothing. Whereas somebody who knows how to manage money would go about it differently. People who get the lotto and end up losing it all did not have the right mindset for that kind of money. So there's plenty of examples of where it doesn't matter how good you are at your skill. If you don't have the mindset to actually keep that money and grow that money, eventually you'll go right back to your baseline. So you absolutely have to have a certain mindset that says, like, I can always tell people who are going to be successful or not. For example, if you have a mindset about rich people that's negative or capitalism that's negative, I know you're not going to make it, because that's what we live off of. Like, capitalism is our current economy. You can't complain your way out of it, right? So signs of a good mindset is you have a healthy relationship with money. You, for example, when you think about, again, when I work with some clients, right, I can tell, for example, if I say, hey, I get all your stuff cleaned up. I tell you what you need to do in order to kind of get rid of whatever issues you're having. I had this actually happened to me about a couple months ago. A client reached out after we did all this work and realized that she was in a bit of a bind. Mind you, she's a 6-figure doctor, so she's not struggling at least she's not struggling on paper, right?
Okay.
After we did all her finances, about a week later, she's like, hey, I want to go on this trip that was going to cost $3,000. I was like, you don't have the money, right? We put it in your face. And you don't have it, right? So you have to change your relationship with anything that's causing you financial harm in your life. So instead of saying, oh, God, I want to go on this trip, I'm going to miss out, my family's going. When you look at that trip, your thoughts should actually be, this trip is going to set me back. It's dangerous to go on this trip, and I'm going to stick to my goals. It's really just flipping your mindset, because things are going to happen no matter what. You're going to have people trying to tempt you to spend money, asking you for money. You're going to have crises happen, but you have to be the one that says, I have a ton of vision on what my goals are. I'm not going to say yes to excessive shopping. I'm not going to say yes to a trip I can't afford. I'm going to say the course, because I'm going to enjoy my life much better, have this debt off my back, or whatever the goal is that you want to accomplish. Correct. And that requires a reminding, I think about society and how if I'm scrolling on social media, I'm much more likely to find something that's saying capitalism is bad. Oh, spending is bad. Oh, I hate politics, versus, oh, business is easy. I love making money on my own. You're not going to see that often. So you have to be the one to tell yourself that. Even every day, I have a card right here, just kind of explaining, I don't know if you can see it, right? Reminding myself what I want. I'm going to make $100,000 a month.
That's right.
Inspiring people, right? But I have to remind myself that every single day, because there's enough people outside telling me it's too hard, it's not going to work, you can't do it. So your mindset is everything, because whether or not you realize it, your mind is getting fed with a whole bunch of stuff, and you have to be the one telling yourself, I can do it, I'm going to make this money, amongst other things, self-focus. That was a long way.
So that's like your affirmation there. 100K a month, most definitely. I know you're going to get there. Already hear you get there, but that's so important. Many people are living off debt to enjoy life, and like I mentioned, with all due respect, by people listening to this, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, understanding the economy. With this economy being $30+ trillion in debt, I want to get out of it. I want to be opposite of a nation that's debted. And it's mindset. And that's not easy. Well, like you mentioned, going on the trips, get the I's dotted, T's crossed. And that's why any young person listening to you, Krystal, getting this information from you can see, let's grind. You call it the accumulating years. I think I'm saying it right. As a young person, if you just put in a few good years of grinding before you hit 40, maybe in your early 20s, and I understand the brainwashing, but you can become financially free, but you got to cut out all the playing. You know what I'm saying? Like I heard Grant Cardone years ago. Man, I want to be rich. Okay, well, stop screwing. He said it differently. Just stop. I know it's not easy, things jumping off with the body, but still, just stop and let's grind. Krystal, simplicity in finance. Financial management can seem daunting to many people. How can individuals simplify their approach to managing money and investments to achieve better results?
Yeah, of course. So I actually have a framework that I call the money framework. It's an acronym. Money is measure, optimize, nurture, execute, and yield. And this is the simplest framework that I could create that pretty much you just repeat over and over again at different levels of your income as your income increases. So measuring is where most people, I think they just want to go into optimizing. They want to just go into, okay, I want to save more. I want to spend less. But you have to measure to create a baseline. What have your current behaviors, your current thought processes, where has that gotten you? So if you just take, and it has to be, put it into paper. So with my clients, I typically have them fill out a whole bunch of things from a mindset perspective. So when you think about money, what is your mindset? You know, who in your life is maybe encouraging you to spend more money? Just things like that. So it's not just about how much you spend and how much you make, but who's in your life that's influencing you? Do you have people that you have to create better boundaries with? Are you the person you have to create better boundaries with because you're spending excessively, right? So once you do that, that's the measuring, just kind of taking a pulse on where you're currently at. Then you optimize. And this is where people pretty much start at. And this is why I don't think they get the results they want, because you don't really know what to compare it to. So then we get into, okay, what is my life? What do I want it to actually look like? You'd be surprised how many people tell me that they want, this and that. And I ask them, well, how much would it cost? And they don't know. So if you don't know how much your dream life is going to cost, well, then you're just driving without a map, essentially. Yeah. Why are you going to work? What if what you want, you could never get at your job, because the only person that makes 300,000 is your CEO, and you don't want to be a CEO, right? That means you're climbing up the wrong tree. So in order to optimize, you have to actually know what it is that you want, so that you can say, okay, well, I want this. Here's where I'm at. And then in that gap would be your money management. I like to keep it simple. So sometimes you'll have apps where you're writing down every single thing that you've spent and you're budgeting and all of that. And I think that if it's too difficult, to your point, you're probably not going to do it. So you want to keep it simple. I have a simple 3 account setup, 2 checkings and 1 saving. Okay. 1 checking goes with all your bills. So in a perfect world, you put all your bills, all the money that your bills will for the month will go into 1 account, your checking account. And then you don't have to even really look at that, right? So I haven't paid a bill by hand, and I don't even know how many years. It's been years, or at least 5 or 6 years, because all my money goes into my checking account. Everything in there gets auto paid. I have a little bit of a gap just in case something happens, but never in the 6 years plus that I've done this have had an issue. All your bills go into 1 account. Yes. All your other spending goes into another bucket, right? So shopping, food, activities go into your checking. And then you have your savings, which obviously is where you save your money, and then you can pull different investments from that account. That's it. So that no matter what happens, your bills are always going to get paid, because it's all coming out of 1 account that you don't touch. It's just your bill account. Then, if I spend every single dollar in my other account, well, I'm still going to have, a roof. I'm still going to have lights, because that money is separate. So that right there, at the very least, if you're somebody who has debt that you are having trouble managing, or you feel like you make a lot of money, but for some reason you have more month than you have money, start with that. Because then from there, at least you could identify, all right, it's probably not a bill paying problem. It's just like a money organization problem. If you run out of money in your second checking, well, then that's a money management problem. And then you can start diving in deeper, saying, what buckets am I spending a lot of money in? So ultimately, if you get a clear idea of where you're at, where you want to go, bridging that gap would be keeping your finances clean. Sometimes I get businesses that will come to me, and it's like they've been mixing their business and personal expenses for years. Wow. And it gets really ugly, So I always say that you have to keep things separate to make it simple for yourself. So I don't like chasing down transactions. I just keep everything separate. That makes it easy, and constantly measure where you're at, and in reference to where you want to be. So I was a little bit winded, but ultimately keep it. Separate all your accounts so that you're not even tempted to spend money you're not supposed to be spending, and constantly track where you're at right now and in reference to where you want to be. And that's the whole money framework, which I could break down if you want more. But
yes, ma'am. Well, no, that's good. Now, I have a question for you within what you share with us. What is your thoughts now of growth for an individual with the banks? Right now, banks, many of them are going insolvent. We've had some major big banks, like I think that was Community Bank in New York. I think, if I'm saying that right, stock went down 40%. What is your take on banks for growth, or do you look at other assets for that person?
Yes. So I like assets that I'm in control of. So I do think that stocks and bonds are good options to preserve your wealth. But as far as money making machines where you can print money for yourself, I haven't seen anything but business do that for me personally. I would
Okay.
also say credit real estate for that too. But if you're looking to grow your money, there's three different buckets: make, keep, grow. I believe growing your money, the best way to do it is in business. Right now, you can start a business with not that much money, use your phone, which you've already paid for, and get online and start talking. And you make money just like that.
Yes, ma'am.
You know? So that's really important. I think that banks are they're pretty intertwined in our lives, so it's kind of hard to operate around banks and avoid them, but they never keep the amount of money that they actually owe people in the bank,
Correct.
So let's say there's like $100 in the bank, they might actually just keep two and then loan the rest out. So I never keep all my money in the bank. I have at least 1 month's worth of expenses. Like hopefully they can figure it out in a month. But 1 month of expenses in cash. That way I have some options. But otherwise you have to use the banks because it's just kind of like we're really intertwined. We're moving away from cash, but I wouldn't, definitely not for growth. It's for wealth preservation. I'll keep my money in a high yield savings, but I'm not expecting to get rich off of anything in the banking system.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Okay. So your thoughts and take on precious metals. I know that I've heard you mention it in some of your reels. I've heard you touch on that. Do you see that as a option for preservation and protection, and also being a certain percentage of people's portfolio?
Yes, and depending on how far down the rabbit hole you go, the percentage would differ. But I like having physical metals and physical assets in general. So a physical asset would be your business because you can physically make changes. Real estate, obviously, you can short-term rentals, long-term rentals. Precious metals is another one because of inflation, which is especially an issue that we're having right now. So it should protect your purchasing power. I do, sometimes, again, if you watch a lot of that kind of content, they make it seem as if we're going to go back to a gold standard and your gold is going to just, make so much money. And that, of course, is a possibility. But the way it's in my portfolio is it's wealth preservation. And if things hit the fan, I have this money that I can reach to and take and sell if I need it. But I don't have any intentions on selling it until, unless like I really needed it. But I'm absolutely a big fan of silver and gold.
Facts. Good teaching, Chris. I really appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters. Oh my gosh. As you know, we have to take a short infomercial break here with episode 19, Money Insights with Financial Expert. You hear it. Years of expertise. Look, helping six-figure millionaires, seven figures, manage their money. Okay, so just because you go to school, get a job, work hard, that doesn't mean that you got everything together. So she's helping you dot the I's and cross the T's. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with this amazing young lady that we're honored to have. And look, you're going to have to get in touch with her. You want to take your stuff and take your life to the next level, these are the type of people you need to connect with. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we'll be right back. Let's take this short infomercial break.
In today's time, not knowing is voluntary. You can choose to not know. And as you know, so much has changed. It's going to keep changing because changing is inevitable. The weather changes. You change, right? Your body changes. Your health changes, especially if you're not taking care of it. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, in today's time, understanding the importance of the economy is your choice. You may feel it. You may not understand it. You may see it with rising prices in the grocery store, rising prices fluctuating at the gas pump, cost of living going up, okay? So much going on with the economy, with new people in office. I won't get into that, but change, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, is inevitable. But in today's time, the number one economy is the economy in your home. And it's super important, if you want the knowledge, for you to take care of that economy. So protection is made of metal. So what do I mean by that? Diversification, ladies and gentlemen, is not just putting all of your eggs in one basket. You've been working hard. You've been saving a piece of paper that's being printed, a piece of paper that's really just a medium of exchange. It's supposed to be exchanged for goods and services, but it's also supposed to be exchanged, a percentage of it, for real money. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want you to take your knowledge to the next level. Ignorance is not a bad word. It just means lack of knowledge. Remember, we weren't fed financial education, and it's super simple. Assets, liabilities, cash flow, taxes. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand that in today's time, you must have real money, real assets. So for the person who wants to learn in a simple way, first I want you to go to www.aricheducation.com, and I want you to download that wealth protection blueprint. That'll be the first option you see there on that site, and it's free. And then you may want to just dive right into this, but you may want to, after reading those, maybe 5+ pages, jump into this, which is under 70 pages, and you can get it in a simple way of why metals, reading historical events, reading from people who now are in our presence today, real life stories of why people are holding metals, and get the education you need, ladies and gentlemen, to protect yourself and put God's money in your possession. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're in a new economy that started in 1972. So it's time for you today, because things aren't going to change. It's either going to get better or it's going to get worse. And things will get worse based on us ignoring information. So remember, we weren't fed this in the school system. We weren't fed this at the dinner table. But right now, you can be fed this by you taking full control and you being in control of your wealth. Take care, take heed, and stay safe.
Okay, fam, I'm hoping that you guys got your notepads out, you're taking notes. And and I forgot, like, share, and subscribe. If you're just seeing this on my channel for the first time, you got to go back and look, get your notepad if you don't have it now, and take notes on what Ms. Krystal is sharing with us today, because we've been blessed. It's a blessing. And like I said, I don't knock teachers, because teachers that's for the school system. And I'm not calling you a fool, but we look at what the school system is developing. Because if you keep both feet inside that box, you stay in a box that's not is limited. But when you step outside the box, use what you learned from school, but now use from what you can learn from self-education. As we see an individual here who's self-educated. She stepped outside the box to master money and help other people. So I hope you get your notepad out. I hope you have it out. Get it out now. Take notes, and let's take action. And as you can see, this great young lady's information is here for you to get in touch with. I should have it on her side, not my side, but it doesn't matter, right? www.krystaltodd.com. You'll be able to connect with her. Krystal, with all of the great information you've been sharing with us today, and I know me doing some research on you and seeing all of the great things on your website, you've also made yourself some major moves in the real estate, dealing with, I think, Airbnb. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Can you share some insights into the real estate market and why you believe it's a valuable investment? Because you did speak on it briefly. What's your experience with that, and how do things go?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Belize, my family. So my property is in Belize, so it might be a little bit different, but I'll still speak to my experience there. The real estate is really unique because you get to enjoy both cash flow and appreciation. So kind of a small tangent, I don't love stocks that are specifically just based on growth, because in order for you to actually realize that money, you have to let go of the asset. With real estate, you can still enjoy appreciation. You can still take money out of that appreciation, right, through a HELOC, home equity line of credit, or just taking out a second mortgage. You have options to kind of tap into that equity. And then you can also get paid right now with rental property. So I'm a big fan of real estate because of that. And that's why I think having it in your portfolio is crucial. With Airbnb in particular, there's a lot to do, a lot to set up. I definitely think if you're not into hospitality, it can be a bit difficult, but worth it because that's the kind of people think of passive income, they think of like real estate you basically set everything up in the first half and then it's just kind of maintaining. So
Yes,
I enjoy anything like that. It's a big upside. So it was a lot of setup at the beginning to get the pictures right, to upgrade it, make sure it's all up to the correct standards. You have to have certain signage everywhere. They give you a whole list of things for Airbnb in particular. But once you get past that, it's just making sure that you're talking to your host, talking to your guests, coordinating with the cleaners, and making sure we pay taxes because the tax laws are a little bit different in Belize. So that's like something I have to do monthly. I just did it yesterday. But it's been awesome. It's rewarding. It's a great way it's like a between business and real estate because you're still having to nurture and talk to people as they come in, but you get to enjoy, again, the passiveness of it because you're not having to work every single hour for that money. They check in, they check out, you make a couple $1,000s and you move on. So I love it. And I definitely encourage people to get into it from the standpoint of in America, for example, to the extent that you can, especially if you're just starting out, try to get into a home that you can, at the very least, do house hacking, right? Which is where you live on one side, maybe it's a multifamily property, and then you rent out the other side. Or maybe if it's a single home, you can convert the garage into like an additional ADU and rent that out because that just gets to teach you some cash flow. Again, you get a whole tax benefits from having real estate. So it can end up being a cash cow. You can end up making a whole bunch of money, but depending on how you bought it, you can actually look like you lost money in taxes because of depreciation. So it's what people call a tax haven. And again, you get to enjoy getting paid now and getting paid when the property appreciates.
Like good teaching with that. I jumped out there, not with real estate. I did back in the day. I didn't know much financial literacy. We're talking about 2008, bought into the market, not knowing. And I mean, a associate from the past, he had a condo in an area in Washington, D.C. that was, and it has, it's changed tremendously with one of the major restaurants we have here in the district, which is called Busboys and Ports. And so the future was going to bring that restaurant around the corner from the condo, but I bought during the crash way above market price. So I basically got gapped, but it's my fault. I didn't know anything, to pay for a condo that I went so much with and ended up having to short sell. So I learned a lot from that. But moving forward today, I did jump into the Turo business. So for the last few months, that's been exciting. Customer service, having a vehicle, ups and downs and everything. But I think that I would rather go through the ups and downs of doing for self, along with having the job, or just being solely dependent on the job, not having any options that I can turn around. But I appreciate you sharing that with us this afternoon, this morning, this evening, wherever you are, my great people. Krystal, as we bring this to a close, we cannot thank you enough for what you've been dropping. Because like I said, I found you on YouTube years ago. Yeah, we're talking about upward mobility. We're talking about keeping her foot on the pedal. Consistent. That's right. That's what success is all about, especially as an entrepreneur. It's all on you. And that's what she's done. I mean, her YouTube channel is a beast. And I know you'll be able to connect to it through your website, Krystal.
All my links, all social media is towards the bottom of the website. So you can go down there and click everything.
Absolutely, family. Look, you've achieved major success on social media platforms. How has this leveraging social media contributed to your career and business growth? Any tips for aspiring financial influencers?
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. I have tips for days. Hold on. Sorry. I don't want my computer to die. Sorry. Give me just a second.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time.
Okay. It wasn't plugged in. Okay. Social media, especially. So I know you mentioned that we're in the information age. I would also say we're in the attention age. Getting attention online. I mean, that's where people are. You see influencers who are buying houses and cars in the same day. It's because they've been able to gather attention, which is very, very, very profitable in this day and age where we have a whole bunch of companies who are looking for people to be the voice and to represent their brands. So social media, in my mind, is non-negotiable when you have a business because people are going to be interested in you. And if there's somebody on the fence in your business, you can get them over to the other side by having good content that provides value with every single post. So for business owners, I think it's non-negotiable. Even if you don't necessarily know what you want to do in business, you can still get on there and just start talking, because that in and of itself is marketable. That's what I did when I was starting with finance. I'm like, okay, I like this. My career, I was like probably, only 4 years into my career as a CPA, but I'm like, whatever, I have enough information. I didn't really start selling products until a couple of years ago, right? So I've been online for 5 years, but not taking this seriously until 2022, really, when it made sense financially to quit my job and all of this. But that's what the power of social media is. I was able to make 6 figures on TikTok within the first year of getting on TikTok. So it can really, really change your life. I'm super passionate about social media because regardless, if you have attention, you can either go into your own business, which is where you have your products, or you can help basically advertise other people's businesses, which is what we see on social media a lot, where there's brand partnerships and they're showing you products. I mean, no matter what, having that attention at the very least can convert into dollars. So it's a non-negotiable.
Absolutely. Facts. So as we bring this to a close, once again, I can't thank you enough. And we talked about the middle class. I just wanted you to end this for us, Krystal, with your thoughts of the baby boomers, this economy that we're in. Maybe they don't want to be that entrepreneur. Even though in my community, I am noticing that you have a lot of older individuals who are understanding that they have no choice but to take control of their economy right now because of what's happening. You have no choice. Either you lose everything or take it out the system, take that small hit and take full control of yourself. But for our baby boomers, Krystal, what do you feel they should be doing right now because of our current state of our economy?
Yes, it depends on, I would say, I guess, where they're at with their own finances. If you have some capital, I definitely would look into making sure that you protect yourself from more volatility in the market. I used to work with somebody who was really, really, set financially, decided to retire. And then 2008 happened. And he ended up having to come back to work in his 70s because, unfortunately, even though he did all the right things that he was supposed to do in his 401k and he had a great job, you are left victim to what happens in the economy. If all you're doing is heavily focusing all your investments on other people's decisions, which is essentially stock markets, right? You're just hoping that all these other companies know what they're doing. So to the extent that you can, I would take some control over your income. If you are in a situation where everything is in your 401k, definitely look into the options. Like, right, doing the math alone will just give you a bigger peace of mind. If my portfolio cut into half, what would I do? Right? This is just like risk planning. This is what all businesses do. So run the risk. What if it doubles? What if it goes into half? Are you going to have to go back into the workforce? Knowing these things before they happen will let you, and identifying what the triggering event is, right? So for example, if my stocks crash by 20%, that will trigger some sort of event that you're going to do next, right? So just really making sure you have a real risk planning in check, not just thinking, okay, well, if my bank fails, the FDIC will save me. No, assume that nobody will save you, and then figure out with your finances how you can actually make moves. So that's what I typically tell people. Like you're saying, well, I don't know what's going to happen. Well, let's see what happens. Do the math.
Wow.
Can you survive? How long will you survive? Can you lean on family members? Just run all your options. And then from there, you got to see if you have to step into something a little bit more hands-on, like business. Even if you are older, don't let people tell you can't do it. You absolutely can. Or even buying businesses. There's a lot of options, but you have to know where you're at first.
Absolutely. Where there's life, there's hope. And I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's been an amazing time here with Miss Krystal. I'm so honored and grateful to be and have shared a platform with, one of our top influencers of the 21st century, right here. You'll see. Go follow her. Go to her website once again. Family, and follow Krystal, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. Just an amazing young lady, and I'm grateful to be here. So with that being said, family, anything you want to leave the community with this evening, this afternoon, this morning? I don't know where they are, Krystal, but I'm just knowing they are.
Absolutely.
Anything you want to leave us with?
Absolutely. I am a huge advocate, and I suggest everybody does the same thing. Design the exact life you want. No matter if people say it's unrealistic, it's crazy, it's weird, it doesn't matter.
That's right.
We've been taught to do everything to get this job. Get a good degree so you get this job. No, how about you design your life and then you make your income work around? Because then you don't want to end up resenting your job, resenting a place you have to go to every single day, or even if you have a business, creating a business you hate because you didn't structure it in the mind of, okay, well, I want to be able to hang out with my kid after 2 p.m. I want to be able to, whatever it is. So design your life. And I promise there are ways to afford and to get exactly what you want, but you have to know what that is first that you want.
Yes, ma'am. Good teaching. And I know a child is the product of their environment. I've seen you and moms travel, but your amazing daughter. Oh my gosh, setting her up for financial freedom, just like Tiger Woods had that golf club in his hand at 3 years old. I see you put your daughter in that position already. She just has an amazing mother to look up to. She has no choice but to be an entrepreneur. Just put it like that.
That's right.
So blessings to you, Krystal. Once again, we thank you so much for your time. And we're going to be chiming in. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, plug in. You see her information. And also, the links will be in the description below. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Once again, Krystal, we want to thank you for your time. You have an amazing day and keep saving lives out here on the financial space.
Yes, you do the same, Demi. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Krystal. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, oh my gosh, super excited. I'm not going to hold you. There's nothing else I need to say. You've heard me in the previous podcast talk. We've had some champions on here. We just had a champion on here today. I'm telling you, great people, this is it. We're in the time right here. You got choices to make today, not thinking about it. Okay? We're in a serious time, but a great time. Because when there's blood in the street, there's big opportunity. All right? So with that being said, I'm going to take us out with just a few seconds of music. Okay? Giving you a few moments to think, but connect with Krystal Todd. Get on her website, grab hold to her. She's a great mentor, great coach, financial expert. This is the time for you to change, ladies and gentlemen. We're no longer in your granddaddy's economy. We're in the new economy.
Everything is so amazing. I thank God for the biz. Let's go. So amazing, so amazing. Do it for self is my only occupation. So amazing, so amazing. Do it for self is my only occupation. Being a boss is so amazing. Every day people owe you payments. Shipping orders, making profits. It's so amazing. I don't want to stop it, no. Humble be jury. Icon Enterprises. When you got your own business, it just energizes. Man, I can't explain it, but I can emphasize it. It will make all the difference in your life if you just do for self and let the job go. You can make your own cheese and your nachos. I'm talking stupid money, big chips. Treat the people right. You might be rich. Lead a plantation. Free your mind up. Where there's a will, there's a way, make your mind up. Think about it, then tell me how you define luck. Ain't it when preparation and opportunity line up? Being a boss is so amazing. Every day people owe you payments. Shipping orders, making profits. It's so amazing, I don't want to stop it, no. Ain't you tired of working for somebody else? I bet you are. Check out all your accomplishments and your repertoire. I'm giving you game, showing you how to get paid. There's so much more to life than you making an hourly wage. Now sing it. Being a boss is so amazing. Every day people owe you payments. Shipping orders, making profits. It's so amazing, I don't want to stop it, no. Oh yeah, there's one more thing that I forgot to mention. Either you do for yourself or you suffer your consequences. So go create a job. Develop all your talents. Look yourself in the mirror and then accept the challenge. Being a boss is so amazing. Every day people owe you payments. Shipping orders, making profits. It's so amazing, I don't want to stop it, no. All you really need is your belief. The will to make it happen in the G-O-D. So so amazing.